Hello everybody, Halcrax here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 301. Yes, 301. We passed the 300 mark. Alright, today we're going to be talking about the 65-ton mech, the Cestus. Yep, it's a Star League mech that's found its way into this book. All these retcon kind of stuff that's going on. It is a 460, 65 tons, has an XL engine, has 12 double heat sinks, 211 points of armor, which is maxed out. It has interesting weapons payload. It has a Gauss rifle in the right torso with 3 tons of ammunition, 2 in the right torso, 1 in the center torso, which isn't a big issue. It's the Gauss rifle that could be the problem when it blows up. You have in the right arm a medium laser and a large laser, and the left arm a medium laser and a large laser. All right. They always like to say this mech is kind of hot, but you know, it just depends on how you want to play with the payload. Now, to be honest, I don't have any memory of ever seeing one of these mechs on the table. In all the years I've been playing, I don't know anybody that has one or even seen one at a convention. It's just like, no, I don't think I've ever seen one. Which is interesting because when you think about all the advanced technology that's possible on this thing, you'd think it'd be seen more often. But no, it's not. The hard-hitting weapon system on this is the Gauss rifle, but you know it suffers from the being kind of slow. You know, it's a 4.6 moving mech, 65 tons. It's basically a line mech that sort of hangs back. You know, this is how I envision using this: is that you got some other heavy hitters out front taking the hits. And this one is playing the middle game to more of a late game. Because it can sit back and fire its 2 large lasers in the Gauss rifle and not worry about heat. So you're looking at 16, 17, up to 19 heat with those 3 weapons if you're running. And if you got a fairly decent pilot in it, you know, heck, if you can find yourself some heavy woods or something and not worry about moving, yeah, you just park yourself and just, you got enough ammunition to fire for 24 turns, which, has anybody seen a game last 24 turns? No. I've had games go 12 to 14 turns, you know, for the longest extent, but not 24. So it's one of those ones that just sit back, punch holes with the 2 large lasers and your Gauss rifle, and let the other guys with their crit hunting weapons, you know, it's like, this would be the one, so I'm firing this guy first or second, you know, in the lineup at a target, punch holes in, and then the guys with the mechs with the crit hunting weapon systems would go in and start hammering away and trying to get those little extra goodies, you know, with the crits if possible. So, yeah, it is not too bad that way. Yeah, with the XL engines, I have a tendency to want to keep it farther back. Now, if I'm on the other side and I see this mech sitting there, and it's like, it probably could take a turn or 2 of concentrated fire, you know, with 211 points of armor. It has a good possibility lasting, you know, a turn or 2 if it's under concentrated focus fire before it disappears. Now, if you're fighting against the clans, that might be 1 turn if they focus on it, because you know they have a tendency to have heavier weapon systems, and they'll tear some holes in it. And all they gotta do is take out a torso, and it's done. It's a done dinner. So there is that. So it's one of those things where this mech doesn't need to be out front very quickly. Keep it farther back. Use that Gauss rifle to your advantage. And if you do get in range of the 2 large lasers, start just throwing them down range, because with those 3 weapons, you don't have to worry about heat at all. All right, unless somebody hits you with infernos for some reason, and still, even with those, you know, yeah, you don't have to worry too much. Not too much at all. Now, If you get it close, now you're moving into the middle game where a lot of their mechs are tore up. Now you can start moving in a little closer, get a better fire solution, and then you got those 2 medium lasers to start throwing down range, and then you start looking at the potential for more heat problems, because now if you fire 1 medium laser, not a problem. It's the second one that starts moving you up the heat scale. So that's an extra 6 heat that you could be throwing down range. You know, so now you're looking at going up 1 point a turn. Now, that's if you're running. Now, if you walk, that's not a problem. All right, so not to worry then. So it's just your movement that's then going to cause you to have any heat problems. So there's that. So that's kind of how I envision using this mech. Just don't get it stuck in very quickly, or else, you know, you get individuals like me or your battle group go, hey, all right, let's just focus everything we can on this thing and take it out. Because all we had to do is take out a torso, and she's a done dinner. All right, so there. Now there is a few different variants of this mech. All right, so we got the one we were just talking about is the 6Y. Now we get the 6X, X-ray. All right, this one carries an all-weapons payload. It carries 2 large pulse lasers, 1 in each arm, and we got 2 medium pulse lasers in each arm, and a PPC. So basically, you downgraded the Gauss rifle to pulse laser. You know, you're taking that tonnage. So right there, you have what 18 tons to play with, and you throw that into what do you call it? Those large, there's those 2 PPC or large pulse lasers. So those are, you know, going to be running you 7 tons. So yeah. Then you got 14 double heat sinks, or no, let's say single heat sinks. Yeah, 14 single heat sinks. Yeah, that's a major problem. It's like, no, it's like that. This is harkens back to one of the original versions of this mech, which is back probably during the Star League era, before they started putting XLs on stuff. Yeah, that would be a very hot mech. You couldn't fire everything. You fired everything and this mech would shut down. You know, you're looking at what, 34 heat, 36 heat, and you can dissipate 14. Yeah. Now you're going to be toasty really quick. Like be shut down. Mech is very hot. So no, but that comes in around a little over 1,400 battle value. Now the original version, did I say that? It's around 1,700 battle value. So yeah, it's a chunk of change that's goes with this mech. Now then we have the EC version, 6Y EC. This is the clan version from Clan Fire Mandrill. All right, so this one carries 2 ER. It has the ER large, ER medium lasers. It has ER large lasers. It has improved Gauss rifle, or basically carries 14 double heat sinks. And so basically, it's still running just about 80 more points with the battle value compared to the other one, you know, which is 17. So if you're playing clans, this could be a second line mech showing up for you. You know, that's a possibility. And you're running around with clan weapons, so yeah, that could be a game changer for you. And it can dissipate 28 heat, which isn't that bad. You know, you're creating 24, 26, 27 with the long-range weapon systems. It isn't until you start throwing those ER medium lasers into the mix that you're going to have some problems, which isn't really a problem per se. Once again, it's keeping into the middle ranges. So typically I'm not going to be throwing in those ER medium lasers into the mix. I'd rather just keep it with the ER larges and the Gauss rifle. Okay, now, then we got the 6Z Zulu. Alright, this one is a throwback to the original concept of the mech. It carries 2 PPCs. Instead of the Gauss rifle, it has 2 large lasers. It has 14 double heat sinks. Or no, that's 16 double heat sinks. I gotta double check that. 16 double heat sinks, sorry. Yeah, it's got 16 double heat sinks. And so you got that, and then was it 2 medium lasers? I also think it has on board. Yeah, it has 2 medium lasers, 2 large lasers, and 2 PPCs with 16 double heat sinks. So it can dissipate 32. So yes, this is what you'd call a very hot mech. You know, you fire the 2. This is how I envision this one. It's like you go at long range weapons, you're going to fire 2 PPCs and throw a large laser into it. All right, that's what you got. So do not fire the second large laser at all, because that's what's going to throw you up in heat scale, and there's no need for that. So it's basically just running around firing the PPCs, and it's like, hey, I'm going to throw a large laser at just for a kick and see what happens. And you got that. Then when you get in closer, then you got 2 large lasers, which is 16. Throw in your PPC, so you're flipping things around. Or you can just fire 2 large lasers, 2 medium lasers. So that is 16. You're looking at 24 if you run. And if you fire a PPC, you go 2 up in the heat scale. Or 1 up in the heat scale if you walk. All right, so you're not going to make full use of all your weaponry, to be honest. Now, an interesting concept could be get rid of the 2 PPCs and replace it with 2 large lasers. So now you're running around with 4 large lasers. Give yourself a couple more medium lasers and maybe a couple more, or at least another heat sink or something of that nature. And then you could fire 4 large lasers, and with that extra heat sink, you're not worried about heat. And maybe even give this thing a couple more small lasers and maybe triple strength Mymer. Tasty. So you could heat this thing up to 9, and you could use those medium or those small lasers to help you relegate to that 9 heat. So that would be an interesting thought right there that just popped into my head. And then you could go in and turn this thing into a brawler. It's kicking legs off of things at 65 tons. That would be a very interesting kick, with triple strength all heated up. And you're moving faster. So there's that. That would be an interesting mech to try out sometime. Things to make you go, So there's that one. Then we got the 7 Alpha or 7A. All right, this one turns it into a close-range brawler. It removes all the weaponry and replaces it with an LBX 20 cannon. Okay, that's kind of tasty idea. And then it has 3 tons of ammunition, so yeah, you can go 15 turns, throwing out either solid slug or cluster munition. Probably have 2 cluster and 1 slug. All right, you got that. Then it has a pair of ER medium lasers, medium pulse lasers, and streak SRMs. So basically, you're just swapping out the Gauss rifle for some different weapon systems instead of. So, yeah, it's basically. I look at this as a city fighter. This is, it'd be better if it's around 1,500 battle value. If they dropped one of the streak SRMs and put jump jets on this thing and maybe triple strength Mymer, yeah, that might be cool. Another interesting thing is it doesn't have ferrofibrous armor or endosteel on board. So if you put ferrofibrous armor on, you could, with the original version, give yourself half a ton more and easily, and then give yourself a case. Put it in the torso where that Gauss rifle is, possibly. You have to take a look at that, but that might be an option. Yes, you're gonna, even if you do hit it, at least you're not gonna blow up the entire mech. You're just taking out a torso. That's it. So there's that as an option. And if you're running ferrofibrous with this other version with the LBX-20, yeah, you could probably maybe gain yourself a couple more medium lasers or something to throw into the mix and turn it into a street fighter, even closer, tearing off armor and then hit it with that cluster munition to go crit hunting big time. If you run it in conjunction with some other mechs that are tearing off armor, yeah, that cluster munition would probably do a heck of a job on board. All right, so that is pretty much it, I do believe. Yes, that is the Cestus in a nutshell. It has potential, even though it has XL engines, and best way to mitigate that is try to keep it in the rear with the gear, standing off with that Gauss rifle. And then later on, middle game to late game, you bring it in and start bringing those other weapon systems on board to start tearing things up in a better way. So that is it. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Elcrex out.